Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast goes out to my good friend Bo Shees, one of the biggest Vancouver Canuck fans I've ever met. Bo always tells me, Jeffrey, don't forget the Vancouver players of the 70s and 80s. They meant a lot to people. Now this guy, known as Bones, was probably one of the best small goalies of his generation. At 5'10", 149, what he made, we didn't have in weight. He made up in talent and was a proven winner not only in the NHL but the WHA. Now, Gary Bromley, born Gary Burt Bones Bromley, in Edmonton, Alberta, January 19, 1950, played the NHL with the Sabres and the Canucks, and he also played the WHA with the Calgary Cowboys and Winnipeg Jets. Now, in his NHL career, he played 136 games and had a record of 54, 44, and 28. In the WHA, he played in 67 games with a record of 31, 21, and 3. He is also best remembered for his infamous skull mask, which he wore during his years with the Canucks. The idea for the design came from his nickname, Bones. Now, he remained undrafted despite a strong career with the Regina Pats of the SJHL. Played with them over 2 seasons, also skated with the Weyburn Red Wings in the Memorial Cup playoffs in 1970. Last season with the Pats, he played 42 games in the regular season, 6 in the playoffs, with a stellar 3.71 average in the regular season. Now, he eventually ended up in the Buffalo system. He played with the Charlotte Checkers of the AHL in 72, played 27 games, and with the Cincinnati Swords with a 1-1 record in 1972. Now, 73, the Swords, that great Calder Cup winner, he went 3-0 in the playoffs and 31 games in the regular season. First saw his time with Buffalo in the 74 campaign, 3-5-3 in the regular season at 12 games. That year with the Swords, a stellar 19-11-3 record with a 2.80 average. 75, he had the full season with Buffalo, 26-11-11, 3.10 average, with 5 games in the playoffs with a 2-3 record. 76 was a weird year, ladies and gentlemen. Missed most of the season. Played 7 games with the Providence Reds with a 4-1-1 record with only 1 game with the Sabres. He jumped to the WHA in 77. First season, 28 games with the Cowboys, 6-9-2 record. Second campaign with Winnipeg, 25-12-1 and 39 games. Back to the NHL in 79 with the Canucks, 11-19-6, and a 2-1-1 record with Dallas and the CHL. 1980, 8-2-4 with the Canucks, and 8-9-3 with Dallas. 81, still a split season, 6-6-4 in 20 games with Vancouver, and 1-1 in 2 starts in Dallas. 82, his last minor pro season, 17-3 and 44 starts with a 3.5 average. And again, your typical 3.5 goals against average player, very consistent, but again, a thin goalie. Not too often, there's an old expression, I like my goalies fat. Don't know why he was not drafted, because the Regina Pats are well known for putting up great goalies over the years. So it must have been like a miss anyway. But when he arrived in Buffalo, quite an overachiever, especially that 75 season where he helped them get him all the way to the Stanley Cup finals. And 4 shutouts that year. Could have easily been a Jennings Trophy contender in the modern era, because one of the big MVPs in net of that season for all of the NHL. If you really look at it, Bernie Braun, him and a few others really shone well in the regular season and the playoffs. But that season with Winnipeg, the great success they had in the playoffs, AFCO Cup, tremendous results. Now, just to recap that 78 season for Winnipeg, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a second here. Bromley had played, I think, on almost all their their what do you call nationally broadcast games, because he was quite a player that year. Just to recap that season, ladies and gentlemen, Winnipeg was 50, 28-2 in a regular season, and they knocked off the Bulls in the playoffs in first round, and then bet the New England Raiders 4 straight. And Bromley was a big part of that as well. And played 5 games in the playoffs, shared duties with the great Joe Daly. And actually, Daly had a better record that year than Bromley, but of course Marcus Matson was in the mix as well. But this team, ladies and gentlemen, what a lineup they had. Alf Nielsen, Anders Hedberg, Bobby Hull, Kent Nielsen, Willie Lindstrom, Peter Sullivan, Lars-Erik Schoberg, Bobby Guidon, Dave Critchlow, Dan LeBratton was there, Tommy Bergman, Lynn Powis, Bill Suck as well, Davey Dunn, Teddy Green. So one of the best Winnipeg Jets seasons ever, and breaking that 50-win mark, just tremendous. And the goalies on that team, ladies and gentlemen, consistent like you would. Bromley 3.3, Daly 3.3, Marcus Matson 3.52. And ironically, they only had 2 shutouts that season, so it was a high-scoring year for the squad. So Gary Bromley, a winner every place he went, Avco Cup champion, Calder Cup champion, one of the best masks ever in NHL history, and all these years later, we're still saying him and Gilles Gratton. That's all I can say. Some of the best masks ever involving the the scare tactics. Thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a fan of Gary Bromley, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends. And if you have any Gary Bromley stories to share, please do so. Thanks.